You know, there comes a point in every man's life when he needs to admit that he has an issue. And I've come to you as a dear friend because I know that I can confide in you and I know that you will always listen to what I have to say. And this is something that I've been needing to say for a very long time. And it's that I absolutely have to build another castle. I do not have enough castles yet in this world. One, two, three, four, five. Five is not enough castles. I need one more. And in fact, I'm sure I will be making even more. Thank you for listening to me and really understanding what I have to say, and giving me all the feedback I needed to move on as a person and to really make sure that I know that it's okay that I'm building another castle because at the end of the day, it's what I want. um, Anyway, moving on. Hello, everybody. My name is B-Man. Welcome to another episode here in Wondermere on the Shroomhearth SMP server. And the rumors are true, the accusations are correct. I said in the last episode that I wasn't sure if I wanted to do a castle on this little island or if I just want to do a small, humble fishing hut. And I just couldn't let the temptations get away from me. I love this house that we built in the last episode. I think that the little dock that kind of extends off of it was the perfect decision. I think going off that way, it would have been way too awkward and quite long. But in between episodes, I've been placing down some wool. So it started off with this. I thought, oh, well, why don't I make a second house that's right beside it? And then we'll actually end up having another little bit of the wharf dock thing go off in this direction after all. And then I thought, well, it would be a little awkward to just have these two buildings and not have anything else to complement them. So I went up here. So I have a lot of experience building these small castles. It's where I feel the most creative and the most comfortable in my building. And really, all they are for anyone out there who is like struggling with, oh, I want to build a little castle. It doesn't have to be anything massive and grand like my Dovestone castle up there. They can be small and simple, and this is all you have to do. So anytime I'm making a keep or a small castle, you get two or three different colors of wool so that you can kind of, see what structure is where. And then you just build a bunch of little rectangles and you put them next to each other and then connect them up with towers and then small wall sections just to fill in the gaps. So what I did here was I went up and I want to have a nice like taller structure here at the back end, with a little side bit and then a tower that goes up, and then there'll be a little bit of a thicker tower right here that'll probably match the height of that. And then as we come down towards the front of the island, the castle will kind of drape downwards. I'm using my hands as if you guys can see what I'm doing. No, use your mouse. So yeah, and then down here there'll be a little area that kind of pops out in front of where the entrance of the castle is going to be. So the shape it's really important to get down what you want. And then after you've placed all your rectangles, you say, how can I make it a little bit more interesting? How can I spice it up? And so that's where these little bits that kind of jut out go. And I think what I'm going to do is, as you can see, the wool overhangs the land, obviously. And I think what I would have done in the past was just pull it down so it looks like the building was built all the way down into the stone. And I may still do that in a couple places, but I want to really, we're gonna step up the level of the terraforming in the back of the island a little bit. At the front, it was very beautiful. I think it's very soft and it's very nice. In the back, I kind of just like let it be because I wasn't quite sure what I was going to be doing. But now that I know that I want this castle to be back here, maybe it's not like a castle, maybe it's more of just a small keep, but we're gonna bring a little bit of the cliff face up and we're gonna see what we can do with that. After I was done putting the wool, I wanted to set the tone before I brought you guys in. And so I made this little arch. Now, scale is a very interesting thing in Minecraft because obviously the bigger the scale, the more free you are to add details because you're not necessarily confined by size. And what really shows like the ability for your building is when you can add the really small minute details at a small scale. So it's not like you're building with like chisel and bits on a mega scale, right? And obviously the person that I learn everything I know from is B-Dubs. I mean, his building is next level every time he releases a new episode. I think I didn't even know that that was an option. So I try to really channel that kind of inspiration. And I don't remember, honestly, if I found... Sir, I'm actually trying to have a really heartfelt moment right now with my viewers talking about one of my building idols, and it's actually kind of really disappointing that you're taking this time out of your day to make that not happen. So that was actually really embarrassing for him that he even attempted to do that. Anyway, what was I saying? I was saying that I don't remember exactly if B-Dubs was the one where I first saw this, but I know he has used this because a little while ago he had a whole moment about the walls and the fences and using glass, I think particularly, to pull the little wall bit that comes out. So my favorite thing, and I've used it before, is creating these tiny archways because just the way that the fence gate, when you place it next to a wall, drops down, right? Now I'm like looking over my shoulder thinking there's going to be another drowned coming up behind me. No. It creates this little arch because of the way that it gets dropped down and the pixel levels here. It's amazing. It's my favorite archway that you can make in the game. It's very tiny and small, but that's why I like it so much, because it can be put in just tiny little areas. So I will definitely be incorporating this in other aspects of this keep. But as far as the block palette goes, we're definitely going to be using the same block palette as here. I may be a little bit more conservative with the coral. I did go and I did get more coral, but I don't have like a lot. So I'm currently using the inside of this, oh geez, the inside of this building as my little like area. So I've gathered up some materials for things that I want, and in between episodes, I actually helped a friend on the server, Muse, with the coastline of her area. There's an ocean that was meeting a swamp, and she just kind of wanted it to be a little bit more uniform. So maybe we'll go over there and take a look. It's nothing special, but what I was doing was I was using this mud and a little bit of the packed mud, the coarse dirt, to kind of like fade it in. It was quite nice, actually. I was very happy with how it turned out. And then I would put leaves in the water to make it look like the vegetation was a little bit more thick. So yes, see, I went and got a little bit more of this coral, some more coral in here, and we'll see what we can put together. I'm very excited for this. The last castle I built was the Hillholm Castle over there, and that was a good while ago, maybe like 4 or 5 months ago. Oh my goodness. So what I'm hearing is that the whole species of drowns want me dead. Anyway, I am going to work on this castle. I'm going to do a nice time lapse for you guys. I'm not going to do a voiceover on this one because those voiceovers on the last ones, especially the first one I did when we were doing the interior extravaganza inside the castle, that was hilarious. I shout out to the viewer who commented that it extremely unprofessional and yet hilarious. I loved that because they were absolutely correct. I was killing myself laughing listening back. That was the first take I did, so like obviously it was going to be unprofessional. Um, but I was like, "Oh my God, I'm talking so fast." And I felt like I had to talk fast because the video was moving fast. I don't know why. It's just my brain was like, "Oh, okay, gotta go, gotta go." Like, oh my God. Anyway, all right. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start building this, but before I jump into the time lapse, we're gonna go over to Muse's place, and I'm gonna show you the coastline area that we did, and also a little bit of her area because I've been showing off a lot of Wondermere, and there is a lot more on this server that I know you guys would love to see. So I'll see you over there. Okay, welcome over to Muse's wonderful area. We are currently up here by her lovely Fallen Cauldron Nether portal. And the area that I'm going to show you, the area that I worked on, is just up and actually just off the map. This big water area. So there's a little bit of swamp here, and there's a lot of swamp over the top. And I'll show you kind of what I was doing. So it doesn't take much to blend a swamp because the idea of a swamp is just lots going on. It's thick, it's messy. There's little bits and pieces. It's kind of gross and a little bit dingy. So you can really take your freedom with just splattering lots of things. And of course, this is not in the base game, but any texture pack that includes the little bit of like frill on the leaves, which I know a lot of people use, it does wonders for this kind of project because it makes it look like it's just kind of coming up out of the water a little bit. It's very nice. So let me take you over to the other side where I did a little bit more. So it's this whole coastline all the way around, and then Muse is planning on having a lovely fishing tournament in a couple weekends, which will be so much fun. So, see, it's just a little bit. I wanted to come over here and show you guys. In areas where maybe the land portion of the swamp doesn't come all the way up, just a little bit of these leaves to make the boundary. And, ooh, scary lily pad. Hopefully no one has a chest boat. Because as if you remember from one of my past episodes, the chest boat will crash the server if it runs into a lily pad. I don't know if that's a game bug or if that's just on our server because of some plugin, but it's hilarious nonetheless. And Muse was caught in a crash loop. Thank you, Muse, for finding that for us. Anyway, I just wanted to come over here. It's not too much. I just wanted to show off this little bit, and I really like how it turned out. Okay, we are back from the time lapse a little bit sooner than I was anticipating, if I'm going to be honest. I was being a little bit ambitious and I thought maybe we might hammer out the majority of this little castle we're going to work on here. But I got extremely distracted by all my friends being on the server, and I was hanging out with them and we were laughing and having a good time. So I did record like a little tiny clip of a game that we recently made on the server. One of the guys on the server, Michael, he took inspiration from the Impulse SV game to Go Touch Grass to make a fishing game of a similar nature. So after I'm done showing you around just a little bit of the castle here, I'll play that clip to end off the episode. It was just my friend Ipo and I razzing our other friend Soul a little bit for not having the greatest score in the game. But in Soul's defense, it was his first time using a fishing rod, so we have to give him a little bit of grace. I can't remember if in the clip you see, but he gets the fishing achievement while doing the game. But yeah, it was funny. Anyway, okay, so as you saw in the time lapse, I only did these first two buildings, but it'll give you an idea of what the castle's going to be. So obviously same palette as this, but just put over here. Now, I think it's important to have a little bit of breakup buildings. So this will obviously be the main hall of the castle, and then there's a little jut out here. This will be a different build palette than the rest of all this. And I think I'll probably do the same thing with this tower over here. This tower will be a little bit different just to break it up because you don't want it to be too monotonous and all samey because then it kind of just blends into one big blob and you lose a little bit of shape, especially from a distance. But let me show you what I was doing with these. So as you can see, this is where our arch was before. This is the little entrance. This one here is very similar to this one, and now I haven't put any of the details on or anything like that. There's not even windows. You can't even get in there to look and see that there's no interior. So that might be the strategy. For these ones, I brought all the way down, but for these ones over here, I brought the cliff up. Now, this is just a sketch of the cliff. I'm not going to leave it just stone like this. This is just for me to get an idea of the shape of where I wanted things to go. So yeah, so you can see I kind of am missing little bits and pieces there. So when we get to these back buildings, obviously we will fix that up. All right. Now, coming back to this building here. So this is a little bit of a skinnier one. It's a little bit taller. And I wanted to add not a full tower, but just a little side tower. I don't know what the actual architectural term is for those bits. They're very similar to what we added in the first episode to the castle, the big castle over there, but only one on the one side. And now the scale obviously is very small, so you can't go in there. But I wanted to give it some nice shape with these walls, and then adding these little levers as if they're like little supports on the bottom. And I also love a little bit of asymmetricism. I don't even know if that's a real word, but that's the word we're using in your builds, especially when they're like this, where the block palettes are all very much the same. Your eye wants to look for things that are different. And so what I did was these little supports on either side are two different heights, right? They're only off by one block, but it makes all that much of a difference. So it'll be kind of nice. This little inner tower here will be right in the middle of the castle where the courtyard is. And it'll just add that little extra bit of shape when you're kind of walking up from here. And when the main building is done, it'll be rising up, maybe to like there. Not super tall, but tall enough where this will help frame it from this angle as you're walking up. So, yeah. I'm really liking the direction that this little castle is going. Of course, I had said I didn't know if I was going to do it, but let's be honest. Of course, I was going to build a little castle here. I absolutely love it. Also, for this one that I'm standing on right now, I don't know if I'm going to keep it. Might make it a little bit smaller, and it will definitely be a different palette than the rest of the island. Maybe I'll do a palette that's similar to the like contrast bits on the castle, but not the same. I think possibly a third thing, because odd numbers are very satisfying to the human eye. So if you have things in threes or fives, that is when it looks the most appealing. But anyway, thank you so much for watching today, guys. I know it's probably a little bit of a shorter one. My name has been B-Man. Please leave a comment, leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you want to see more. I'll leave you with the little clip of us playing the fishing game, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
You want to aim like a little lower. Yeah, there you go. Kind of like that. You almost had it. And you got to get it early.
I think that's the end.
Oh.
I
That's
think you
the
did
end.
fantastic personally, but let's see what the score has to say.
For your first time ever fishing in Minecraft. Pretty
Okay,
good.
before you look, how many do you think you got? It's an egg.
What do you mean it's an egg?
I don't know what that means. You got one salmon.
Not even a cod. So is that negative points?
I think that's -1. You're only supposed to go for cods.
All right. I'm
That's
adding
very
it to the book.
impressive.
Again, for never fishing.
Hey, you know what? We'll give it to you. This was your first time fishing. It's a very high stress environment.
We're giving what to him?
The -1. Hey, but if you think about it, two negatives means a positive, and so that means you're actually in the lead because everyone else has less than you.
That's true. Yeah.
If you really think about it.